One of the cool things about collecting action figures these days is there are a lot of brands out there at a lot of similar scales, which lets you not only integrate them into your dioramas, but, well, make a lot of direct comparisons. And, this comes down to both character selection and price value, what you're getting. I mean, there's a lot of characters out there that could be mistaken for any number of brands. Loose. You saw these figures on a table, they could be G.I. Joe figures. Just like this Darth Vader could also be a G.I. Joe figure. Wait a minute. Okay, bad example. The point is, what you're basically getting in, let's say, a 6-inch action figure, regardless of brand, is more or less designed to be the same, no matter which brand it is. And this leads to some confusion because, well, not every brand costs the same amount to develop. The reason, though, that some brands have to be scaled back, let's say, if they're less expensive to develop, is price and value. Well, price value. It's like, Thanos, with everything have to be balanced. If you have one brand that's much higher cost, and you're getting so much more in the same cost, not higher cost, but two identical brand items, but one you're just getting so much more, it doesn't feel right. A good example is when Hasbro launched the G.I. Joe classified series. They figures didn't really come with alternate hands. They just came with, bad example. There's alternate hands. They didn't come with that many accessories. Maybe one set of alternate hands and a gun. Just like kind of Star Wars. You kind of got, a jetpack and a gun. So it was, the same type of value. Now with Star Wars, you did tend to get a lot of tooling and a lot of soft goods used, but more or less the same. Also on Marvel Legends, if you opened up a 6-inch figure, you'd be getting the same kind of value. A figure, an alternate set of hands, and a weapon. Or in a lot of cases with Marvel Legends, the alternate head, or you'd get a Build-A-Figure piece. But more or less same value outside of the box, let's say, if you put it in front of a child and they didn't know what the value was. And that's very deliberate. If you look at these G.I. Joe figures from an early wave of classified, if you were to juxtapose this with a figure from Marvel Legends shipping at the same time, literally they could be interchangeable. I mean, you could probably put them in front of a child and they would have no idea they were from two different brands, two different licenses. So that's what I mean by price value at retail. Now, if you look at what's happened with the G.I. Joe classified series, and I'm amazed at how deep, I'm blown away by this. I wish I was a bigger G.I. Joe fan because I would have loved to have been collecting this line. But G.I. Joe just didn't hit me as a kid. But that's all right. But man, for G.I. Joe fans, this is I think the best toy line at retail right now. And one of the reasons is because the accessory count has gone up. The paint apps have gone up. Now, this is all, again, due to how much it costs to make a toy line. With G.I. Joe, there is no royalty. Hasbro owns G.I. Joe. Whereas with Star Wars, there is a royalty, where a portion of, call it every dollar, has to be paid to the owner of said property. And with something like Star Wars or Marvel that are not owned by Hasbro, but are licensed by Hasbro, and this applies to Mattel, Jax, Jada, Spin Man, all of them. This is just toy 101, if you will. Now, ironically, Star Wars, back in the day, only Kenner had a deal where they only paid George Lucas 1%. Now, 22, 23%. May even be a little smudging higher. So yeah, things have changed over the years. If Kenner had just never stopped making figures, they'd still be paying 1%. They were locked into that for life under the condition they didn't stop. And then they stopped in like 1986. Wow, different world. All right. Now, the question, though, on a lot of people's mind is then, how does this relate to things that are online, like HasLab? Because fans have started to notice a distinct increase in the amount of stuff, detail that you get with a G.I. Joe HasLab compared to a Star Wars HasLab, like to the Cantina and the current Cobra jet that's out, or, we're sort of out at the same time, especially in terms of price point. A lot of fans also pushing back and saying, well, the G.I. Joe items feel like they're at a lower cost and you're getting more value than the Star Wars items. So what's up with that? Well, and also the fact that, Star Wars has obviously had items that haven't moved forward, whereas G.I. Joe, every item has gotten funded and right away. So, there's all this like, oh, does Hasbro, love one brand more than the other? Well, they definitely don't love losing money on any brand, and they want success. So, there's not playing favorites, but there is business 101 that, yes, Star Wars is not owned. So 23% of of Star Wars items, that cost goes to Lucasfilm. But with a G.I. Joe product, Hasbro keeps that. So, it's like, what's going on here? Why is this bar, you feel like more expensive or you're getting less compared to Cobra Jet? It's the royalty. Now, I already explained how the royalties often get balanced out at retail by making a figure that may cost less to make just come with the same amount of accessories, like the G.I. Joe Classified did for years. Fast forwarding to now, what's different, why is this offering different from all other offerings? It's because it's online and there's not a comparison. With retail, the price value is one item versus another on the shelf. These are all unique items. So while there is price value, there's not comparative price value. So there's nothing to balance it to. You can't say, oh, that sail barge is that much, but the guy's sail barge over here, offers that much. There's only one. These are unique items catered to fans, customized, produced as one-offs, not meant as part of a retail program or a planogram. That's why that rule doesn't apply now. So HasLab online items, or Mattel Creations, whoever's doing these kind of programs, yes, they can offer a brand they own at a lower cost because the royalties don't have to be value subtracted or added to make it equal to other brands that they're competing against, or even just, meant to have the same price value. All right, I hope that explained it. I know, it's confusing things, but the online space is new to a lot of toy makers, and, maybe having HasLab items also have price values necessary to keep fans from noticing exactly what they're noticing. So we'll have to see how that goes in the future. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, and thanks for sharing these videos. It's the best way to support this channel. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.